Hi class, welcome to IS371. I'm Professor Fahmi Jalani. Today we'll be taking a look at chapter 2 for business driver for information security policy. So some objective we'll be take a look at will be the relationship between drivers and policy, and also we take a look at the key concept, for example the risk, liability, and the policy in terms of operation. But first, we take a look at some case study. So why business driver are important. So if you can recall, somewhere in 2013, there was a major data breach for companies like Target. This is during the holiday season, and technically, most of the financial information was compromised. Nearly 40 million customers were at risk, and and because the company about 200 million. Target is based in Minnesota, especially. Also in 2018, British Airways, okay, had a malicious attack, okay, where it captured customer information, 500,000, okay, and damages cost about 230 million. And also Capital One, which is a credit card company, okay, where the attacker managed to access about 100 million accounts, application, and also reputation to the company. So all this, some of the impact that a lot of companies are facing through, especially through for their customer, when customer data has been compromised or breached, uh, hackers could use that uh, data or information to do harm and also sell it in a way. So moving along, so there is technically increased importance of concern about the risk and how to reduce it. Okay? And they are not policy are not solely on technology anymore, and more on how what's the impact and how are they going to handle it. Okay? And companies, organizations have to protect the customer information. Okay? Some of the concern, having said that, are cost, okay, regulation, adoption, and also impact on the business. Okay? As customer information are being breached, uh, customer confidence are down, and most likely they will go to other to their competitor. Okay? So there is a need for maintaining compliance, which will lead to policy. Okay? So next we take a look at some common classification, okay, which is used in security control. First we have, which is quite commonly, physical control. This could be as simple as a physical device, locking your door, CCTV cameras, fences, okay, security guard. Uh, this also could be implemented in the server room, for example. Okay, access card, for example, things like that. Next, we have administrative control, where only uh, certain user could access certain information and they are being managed. And lastly, we have technical control, which is quite commonly uh, password, antivirus software, firewall. Those are some controls. Um, so moving along, we have security control and some design types. First, we have preventive, which is more automated control. Yeah. This could be in terms of giving you an error message, for example. Right? Next is detective, alerts organization when incident might occur, for example, IDS, intrusion detection system. Well, when there's a breach in the firewall, the administrator will get alarm or even a power failure, for example. And also, lastly, corrective, could be a backup and recovery, which we see quite often in most uh, organization or companies or businesses that they will have a backup of their database daily. This is to prevent any corruption on their hard disk, for example, or on their database. Next, we take a look at three unique security design, control design. So first we have threat launch. This is basically preventive control. So uh, when there is a threat, so at the top here, okay, we see okay, it's being prevented, right? And next we have detective control, where it will alert a trigger signal to the staff or the business. And lastly, we have corrective control, where it's basically the result is restored. Okay. So all this we need to exposure, how you mitigate the risk. Okay. Commonly, we will try to educate the employees, be training, um, videos. Uh, this is basically to create awareness. Other than that, we have prevent loss of intellectual property, preventing staff from uh, copying files or sending files, sensitive files, okay, which lead to protecting the digital asset. Okay, these are basically companies' asset, for example, the trade secrets or patent, copyrights, certain codes that they will not share, certain things that they will do, uh, certain project. Okay. Uh, Securing privacy of data. Okay. This could be customer data, information, and also lower risk exposure. Okay. Uh, by not downloading suspicious attachment, for example. Okay. So next we have awareness. This is basically for employees, to educate employees and drive security. Uh, so we mentioned about education. So we have companies could have programs, okay, repetition. So some companies will have yearly program to remind their staff what to do and what not to do, making them on board, okay, so they are aware, and supporting them if they have any question or any doubts. Okay, and so most of the training are quite relevant. Okay. Benefit, okay, we add value, okay, prevent downtime for the company organization. Culture wise, companies are quite transparent and they are resilient with this training. So how do we prevent loss of intellectual property? Um, so here we have we mentioned about patents and copyrights, where uh, an asset for the company to protect. Things like classifying IP address, okay, um, not allowing people to access easily, uh, filtering emails and other tools, and also, for example, even software downloading or email attachment. In terms of protection of digital asset, here we have policy, security policy. We need to define them, security control, what are your inventory digital asset, for example, customer information, and need to apply it, okay, and also enforce it. So next we take a look at some guidelines for secure privacy of data. Uh, Here we have, this is according to PII, or personal identifiable information. For example, examine, okay, the local and state or federal requirements, okay, collaboration with the CPO or Chief Privacy Officer. That's something new that some companies should have, other than CIO or CTO. Alignment of policy is, which is reference back to the requirement. Training, educate, okay, staff, and retain. This is basically data retention, and also prevent destruction. Um, Limitation, okay, of data. Okay. This is more to access. Disclose. Okay, you need to be able to disclose to the customer, for example, to the individual, why is the data being collected and what it's used for. And lastly, encrypt. Okay, encryption is quite or very important. Okay, today most of us are using, for example, social network, okay, or personal messenger, or even WhatsApp, okay, where data are being encrypted. So uh, sensitive information or even normal information, communication are not being hacked or interrupted while they are being transmitted. Okay? If most of you have heard about uh, devices, for example, BlackBerry, which is quite um, common in the, I believe, in the 90s or 2000. Okay? Um, BlackBerry was a pioneer in creating a device that could not only call, text, or even email. They were the pioneer, and they are able to encrypt data. And when the SEC was onto them, the co-CEO I believe it's Jim Balsey, uh, was able to escape prison time because his data was encrypted. Okay. So that's, that shows how encryption is very important. And next, we take a look at the secure privacy of data. Okay, so there's two part. Okay, principle, which is I mentioned about full disclosure, telling the customer, the consumer, okay, why you need the data, what is it used for, and also encrypting it. Uh, so this will lower the risk for exposure, where you will rank it, you measure it, okay, in terms of business impact or loss. Okay. Uh, Things like risk appetite, how much will the company lose, okay, in terms of or accept if the data was compromised. But apparently there is no way to calculate it. Okay. Also, company needs to take a look at how to minimize liability. Okay. This would be a separation between employer and employees, whereas not all employees are able to access all the data from a customer, for example. What the acceptable policy, what's the agreement, non-disclosure agreement, insurance policy, yeah. And next is implementing the policy, which will fall upon how the business are able to repeat, okay, the processes, okay, which is uh, feasible or viable for the company. And they should also have different mitigation, compensation, control, for example, okay, in the event it was breached, the data, okay, and also a policy to prevent. So let's take a look at possible repeatable process. Okay, first one. So we have things like management, uh, so company should be able to manage, okay, what is the standard procedure, okay, measure the volume, consistency, and quality of the security, and audit it, review periodically, right? And also measure, in this case, track defect errors or incident, where companies will have graph to take a look, how many attacks are there in a day, things like that, reports, for example, and also make improvement. So next we have the difference in mitigation and compensation control. Mitigation are technically trying to minimize or limit the damage when there is no control, when you are being being faced by the attack, for example, the first time. Okay. In this case, for example, you don't have a antivirus or firewall, for example. Okay. Here they say control after the fact. Okay. Compensation control, uh, basically what is the desired outcome, policy intent. Okay. This could be fines, for example. Okay. But it's not necessarily what the policy uh, of the company. Okay. Like for example, paying for fines. Next, we have uh, we take a look at policy how to prevent operation deviation. We have which is basically a waiver policy, okay, including independence. Okay, this is basically sub unit of the business, for example, accounting, HR, okay, they have their own mitigation, for example. Okay, impact, examine the risk of the entire organization. For example, there's an attack on the logistic department that will lead impact the rest of the whole business, things like that. Benefit of having, for example, firewall, antivirus, okay, mitigation policy, approval. Okay. This is basically top-down management. Right. So that's pretty much it for the class today. We talked about some of the policy, controls, what the mitigation, liability, and operational for IA. Okay. If you have any question, please feel free to email me. All right, and stay safe. Thanks. Bye.